Time now to tackle the gravestones and the grass behind and in front of them. Now, I've already started off some of the gravestones with white, and they're going to change colour as we get to here. Now that's half and half, that one. So on the lower half of it I'm going to put the light grey. Now all of these others here are grey, so I put the grey on. I'll complete those in a moment, and the second colour we would use then is the mid-tone grey, like that. Now on this edge we have an edge down there, so we want to make that a little darker. The same one there, and I'll be putting a darker grey on that in a minute, like that. Now this one is darker, and this is darker than the church buttress behind it, so obviously we've got to make that quite strong. Now I'll do, as I say, I'll only do a couple, because basically they're repeating themselves all the way along. Now that one, now because that has to be darker, this one, we're going to use it, the darker 175. If I decided that that was ending up to be too dark, what I could do is, of course, lighten the buttress behind, but for the moment I'll leave it. Now also the other thing about a gravestone is that you don't want to make it just one bland colour. I know they're rather dull things, but we don't want to. We can make them as attractive as we can. Yeah, if you forgive me for saying that. Right, we I've got a little bit of ochre in there. Just a little bit of ochre, and just a touch, if I can find it, my 283, like that. Now what we can then do is bring back a little of the grey. This is the lighter grey that I've first put in, and we can use that like a blending tool. You see that? Like that. And we can fashion that. You see a problem I've got here? I've got that line coming down here and then meeting the line there. So what I've got to do is to make sure that we make one of them, and in this case I'm going to make the gravestone itself a little bit stronger. Now that's the black going in there, and you see it's not a lot of definition between the two. That's good. So what we've got to do is we've got to lighten behind it. Now I'm going to use the grey, the medium grey, and I'm going to go round the edge. See that? Now you should now be able to see that standing out. Got it? So all we then do is just to bring that up in there. These are all the little extra things you can do afterwards. Now that stands out quite nicely. Now if you want to make that really stand out, what you do is you just put in a little bit of light green and a little ditchy bit of ivory in there, like that. Oh, Colin, you're a master. Okay, now as far as the grass in the front is concerned, now all the gravestones, oh, I better do this one for you. I said I was going to do that and I haven't done it. That one, okay. And we make that, because that's, we use the same shading again. I don't want to make it too dark this time. That's probably dark enough. We got a nice little edge on it, like that. There's one on that one which I put in earlier, so we make it darker. And then it can go around like that. Now that stands out really nicely, doesn't it? However, I'm still not satisfied, because now I want to put a little bit of the light grey back into here, and I want to make that just a little bit more realistic. We don't want a white gravestone, we want it to be a light grey, or hitting the light. Okay? Oh, I didn't know there was so much to it, Cole. Well, there you go then. And just to make it really stand out, we'll just put a little bit of light on the very, very top. Oops. There, like that, and that's it. Now, I was talking about the grass, so I'm going to bring the grass down now, because I want this to be quite light. I'm going to use an ivory pencil just here. I want a light. This is behind the fence. Don't worry about the fence at the moment. I'm going to do ivory in there. I'm using ivory rather than white, as you can see. It's better now. There's a shadow of the trees here cast across there, so it's going to bring it the dark colour through here, but all of this is going to be very light. So start off with like that, and then we use I'm going to use a 170 green here, and we're going to put the green in now. That green can go on top of the ivory. Okay, and I'll complete that along there and through there. Now just there, just here is where there's shadow. So we've got shadow coming in, and it stretches all the way from here down to there, where it peters out, where of course, like the gravestones. So that's going to be dark all through there. However, I've also got a little bit of light which I've got behind there. So you see how critical this is? You've got to make sure that what we've got is gravestone in there. We've got the light coming from behind it. To add to my problems, this lot is, I've got a little bit of bush here as well, which I want to put in. Glad for punishment, aren't I? So a little like a little bit of shrubbery, which I quite like the idea of, and a little bit of light at the back there. Oh dear, dear, dear. Fiddle, 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 fiddle. But it's all worth it, folks, at the end. That's it. Good. That's good. That's good. There we are. Now, that's the principle. I mean, there's a long way to go yet. I haven't finished it by a long shot. But you see there, we've got a shadow. Now, the other thing I've got to consider is, as we come here, we've also got a shadow of some of these gravestones. So we put those in as well, like that. There you go. Isn't that pretty? Everything's got to come forward, so what I make sure of doing is making sure I've got all the right little bits of texture in there. That will be darker because that's on its side, like that, and so on. And I'll just finish one more gravestone off for you. We're using some ochre. And some grey. And then you put the white back in again. See, it won't, let's have a little bit of a design on the top of that. That's good. A bit of light on there. And finally, I'll put just on this edge